Have you ever felt it? That strange, quiet desire to watch everything fall apart? Not out of hatred, not even anger, but because somewhere deep inside, you're exhausted by a world that refuses to make sense. Maybe it happens in traffic, when the horns scream louder than your thoughts, or at your job, when you realize everyone's pretending to care, but no one really does. Or in the scrolling silence of your phone, where truth drowns in dopamine. We say we want peace, but deep down, a part of us wants the fire. And here's the terrifying part. You're not alone. In fact, this quiet yearning might be universal. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian who stood up to Hitler's regime, once described something darker than evil. He called it stupidity. Not ignorance, not a lack of education, but a dangerous, willful blindness. A refusal to think, to question, to see. And he believed stupidity was more dangerous than malice, because malice at least has intention. Stupidity just follows orders. We look back at history and shake our heads. How could they let that happen? But the truth? It wasn't just them. It's us. The patterns are still here. Only now, they wear better suits, have cleaner hashtags, and speak with better branding. Because civilization doesn't collapse in one big bang. It rots slowly from the inside, through quiet compromises, through truths we ignore, because they're too inconvenient. Plato warned us in his allegory of the cave. Most people would rather cling to comfortable illusions than face the painful light of truth. Show them reality, and they'll not only resist, they'll hate you for it. And what's worse, once they go back into the cave, they'll call the darkness home. We are more connected than ever, but lonelier than we've ever been. We have infinite access to knowledge, but choose distraction. We are free to think for ourselves, but outsource our opinions to algorithms. In a way, we've built our own caves, voluntarily. And when someone tries to break us out, we call them extremists. Or worse, we ignore them. But what if I told you, it's not entirely your fault? Jung believed we all have a shadow self. The dark, unconscious part of us we hide even from ourselves. It carries our repressed fears, envy, rage, and desire. And the more we pretend it doesn't exist, the stronger it gets. What we hate in the world is often what we refuse to confront in ourselves. We rage at stupidity while scrolling numbly for hours. We mock corrupt leaders, but lie about tiny things to protect our image. We condemn the herd, but still beg to belong. So here's the uncomfortable truth. We are the civilization we criticize, and a part of us craves its downfall because it reflects all the parts of us we've refused to change. Machiavelli once wrote that people do not truly want freedom, they want security, and those who offer it, even falsely, will always rise. Not because they are brilliant, but because they are convenient. So we end up ruled by narcissists, celebrated by fools, entertained to death, and yet we keep walking forward, like nothing's wrong, but not everyone does. Some of you feel the cracks, not just in society, but in yourself. You see the lies. You sense the emptiness. You feel the weight of meaninglessness gnawing at the edges of your life, but you don't know what to do with it. Nietzsche called it the death of God, the collapse of the old world, without a clear path forward. He didn't celebrate it. He warned us. Without purpose, without higher values, we'd become untethered, chasing comfort, avoiding pain, drifting toward nihilism disguised as progress. He predicted this over a century ago, and now we're here. So why do we secretly crave collapse? Because it feels easier than change. Because if the system fails, we're off the hook. We don't have to take responsibility. We can start over, blame the chaos, and avoid the mirror. But here's the truth no one wants to say. The world doesn't need to fall apart. You do. Not in the destructive sense, but in the inner, transformative way. Your illusions, your masks, your attachments to a broken system that keeps you numb, anxious, obedient. That needs to collapse. Because beneath the rubble of your false self is something real, something powerful. A self that doesn't need validation. A self that doesn't seek comfort over truth. A self that isn't afraid to stand alone. This is the quiet revolution. And it doesn't start with riots. It starts with thought, with silence, with that small, terrifying moment when you choose to see things as they really are, and then act. Bonhoeffer once said, "To not act is to act. To not speak is to speak." Neutrality in the face of stupidity is complicity. So ask yourself, are you watching the collapse, or are you helping it? Are you numbing the pain, or listening to it? And most importantly, who will you be when the smoke clears? Thank you for watching. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That's where change begins. If you're ready to stop sleepwalking through the collapse, subscribe. Not just to the channel, but to the part of yourself that refuses to go numb. This is the Root Room, and your awakening has already begun.